and welcome to DEJI360. I am Oyi Adekunle, standing in for Deji Bademosi. Barely a year after Nigeria was declared wild polio virus free, there's been an outbreak and circulation of vaccine-derived polio virus variant in 13 states of the country and the Federal Capital Territory. With this news, there are concerns that Nigeria is at risk of losing its polio-free status 12 months after the World Health Organization declared the country endemic-free in August last year. The new vaccine-derived polio virus has been detected in Abia, Bayelsa, Borno, Delta, Jigawa, Kano, Kebbi, Lagos, Niger, Rivers, Sokoto, Yobe, Zamfara, and the Federal Capital Territory. The government is now working to see how this outbreak can be brought under control. All right, joining me now on the program to discuss more on this is Dr. Tunji Funshaw, the chairman of Rotary's National Polio Plus Committee in Nigeria. Dr. Funshaw, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Now, first of all, help us understand, what is this polio variant and how is it different from the wild polio virus?
Thank you very much for having me on this program to shed light on this issue. The wild polio virus is the original polio virus which had been endemic all over the world for centuries. And that is the virus that was certified by WHO last year to be totally out of Nigeria and out of Africa. And since then, we have not seen the wild polio virus. Now, that is the virus that we set out, to eradicate. We now have only 2 countries in the world that still have the wild polio virus being transmitted. That is Afghanistan and Pakistan. Now, this new variant that we're talking about is actually a mutated vaccine virus. In other words, the vaccine we're using contains an attenuated live virus. In other words, the vaccine that we're administering to children has viruses that have been weakened to the point where they cannot cause any infection. However, as happens with most viruses, if they remain in an environment for a long time, they can mutate. Because like every creature of God, they want to survive. I mean, the human race got here basically by mutation.
And this must be quite personal for you, because considering the fact that you and your organization played a very key role to seeing that Nigeria was declared wild polio virus free. Now, was this something that you actually saw coming?
Well, we did not see it coming at the time it came, but we have always prepared for it. We prepared for it now for almost a decade. This is why we have a more stable vaccine virus now that is very, very unlikely to mutate in a short time span. And that is what we have been using to suppress these new incidences of the vaccine-derived, polio in the country.
And it's quite surprising to see some states where these new cases have been detected. States like Lagos, Delta, for instance. Now, would you say that we relaxed too soon, just to put it that way?
No, not at all. We had circumstances, that has created this situation that is totally beyond our control, unpredictable. One is the fact that routine immunization generally suffered a setback because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Routine immunization coverage went down, partially because parents could not access primary healthcare centers to get routine immunization. That is one. Secondly, the fact that a lot of human resources were diverted towards ensuring that we control the COVID-19 pandemic. That is one reason. The other reason is that, you see, the variant that we're getting now, which is the type 2 oral polio vaccine virus, it's coming now because we have removed from the vaccines we've been using the type 2. And so we've been using what we call the bivalent, type 1 and type 3 in the vaccine. So a large cohort of children have not had the type 2 vaccine. And therefore, it was very easy for this variant that has been circulated in an unhygienic, unsanitary environment to infect such children that have had no coverage whatsoever. Those are the two major reasons why we have been having, these surges. But we're certainly on track to put a lid on it.
Because the concern now is that with the outbreak of this new variant, it's possible that Nigeria risks losing its polio-free virus. So I'm just going to ask you now, like, how much of a danger or threat does the outbreak now pose to Nigeria's polio-free status?
There is no threat whatsoever. The wild polio virus is quite distinct from the circulating vaccine-derived virus. So, that is not, going to be the case. Certification was done under very, very strict guidelines. And before WHO certifies a country as polio-free, it's a rigorous process that took place. And that process, cannot be reversed. And because we have a very robust surveillance system, that is why we are able to discover these new vaccine-derived viruses, even from environmental samples. Not all the states actually have children paralyzed by the vaccine virus. In some of the states, the virus was discovered in sewage system, which is part of the way we ensure that there's no wild polio virus or even vaccine-derived polio virus in our environment. So it is kudos to our very robust surveillance system that these variants, these vaccine derives, are being reported.
And you did say earlier that the COVID-19 pandemic, to a very large extent, affected access to routine immunization for children. Now we're in a situation where there's like you said, viruses mutate, and then there's a Delta variant of the coronavirus now, which has been confirmed in Nigeria. Cases are rising now on a daily basis. Now, do you foresee a situation where, with this new, the emergence of a new variant of COVID-19 in Nigeria now, would this not also again affect access to immunization and then the fight against this new variant of polio?
Thankfully, we have been able to, after the initial shock because COVID-19 was quite new to everyone, after the initial shock and the initial precaution, to ensure that in the process of trying to vaccinate, we don't infect, families and children with a new disease, we paused, but now we have evolved strategies that makes it quite safe for us to immunize children, both in primary healthcare centers, but also to do our usual mass campaigns of going house to house. And we have been doing that virtually monthly now in the last 4 or 5 months. We just concluded one last week in 7 northern states of the country, going house to house, because we protect, the vaccinators. We also provide protection, for the families, who are going to be in contact with vaccinators as well. So the resurgence of the Delta variant, which actually has not impacted, the program in Nigeria, is not a major source of concern, but, a source for caution.
And very quickly now, would you say that this new polio variant is as dangerous as the wild polio virus?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, it's a much, much weaker, variant, and the tendency to cause paralysis is much lower. than the wild polio virus. That is one fortune that we have as far as, this circulating vaccine-derived polio virus is concerned.
Lastly, Dr. Funshaw, before I let you go, let's just talk about measures now that have been taken to curtail the spread of this new outbreak. Now, for your organization and also on government side, what measures are already on ground to ensure that the outbreak does not spread more than we already have? I mean, 13 states and the FCT, so it doesn't go beyond that.
Well, the major measure, to contain it in the short term is actually, doing what we call outbreak responses. That is going out and immunizing children purely with that, new vaccine that is more stable, that is very unlikely to cause vaccine-derived, in children, no matter how unhygienic or unsanitary the environment is. That is a major measure. And we have done now about 4 outbreak responses in these 13 states, combined. And we're still going to do some more to ensure that, every child, in those areas and surrounding areas where this vaccine-derived has affected children, have these campaigns, to ensure that it is contained. And I can tell you it's being contained because we've not seen any new cases for more than 2 weeks now.
Well, Dr. Tujish Funshaw, the chairman, Rotary's National Polio Plus Committee in Nigeria, we thank you very much for joining us on DEJI360, and we wish you all the very best and trust that, as you've done before, we'll be able to put this new variant of polio virus in check. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
We'll take a short break here, and when we return, we'll be talking about security issues. Please stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.